Okay, now I came across this guy, Stanley Chang, older Asian man. And this is what's really strange is he has what appears to be the same exact harp that I have. And he cut a hole in the back of it, just like mine had a hole cut in the back of it. His name is Stanley Chang. He's deceased. I showed this to my son, this video, and let me run this thing, try to mute it. Now, my son said when these guys brought it in to sell it at the music store, the big box it came in said Chang on it. And this guy's name is Stanley Chang. It's so strange. I think I found the guy that cut the hole in the back of the harp. Check this out. That is my same harp. There was nothing wrong with it. He decided to just he wanted to make a free floating, there it is. You can see there's no bar in there. Right? Quite messy to remove it, I bet it was. And there it is. You can see where he cut that section out right there. He was trying to make a door for it so he could access that spline in there with all the bolts. That's why he cut the side of it in. Yeah, see, that's exactly where the cuts were. Right there, all on there, exactly like that. And I think he's the one that made the soundboard that I have right here. Is this weird? This is like from 2016, it's now 2022. And then Stanley looks like he's about 90 years old. So, my God, is that weird? Hard to believe. Okay. This harp is telling a story. Wow. All right, here's a little update from the Harp from Hell. So I figured out who did this this cutting apart and destroying this harp. It was a 93-year-old man, and he was trying to invent a floating soundboard and installing this big metal spline that you attach the strings to these so that this thing takes all the stress, the 1,000-pound, 2,000-pound pulling force at the strings. So the soundboard would be free floating. It wouldn't be under any stress, hardly at all, supposedly. So not a good idea. I did contact Lyon Healy, the manufacturer. And Cheryl sent me an email. I sent her some pictures. I go, did you guys install this? Let me try to get it up here. So she says, first I asked, I wanted to know the string spacing, and they're not able to give that information. It's proprietary, so, you know, whatever. So she recommends reaching out to local harpists to see if they know anyone with a 85 GP that would be willing to let you measure their soundboard. Oh, no. Pain in the butt there. Okay, as far as that spline, that's quite interesting. I've never seen something like that before. Definitely not something we would have done. As if there was structural damage, we would have repaired the harp structure completely. They would have replaced the sound box and soundboard. Could imagine what that would cost, huh? The spacing of the string holes may give you an idea of the spacing for the soundboard, though. So it might be useful. My major concern with the spline is the integrity of the base frame if you remove it. So I am not going to put this thing back in. It's 40 string harp. There's 37 of these. So that was, you know, and even if you put this in there and you put strings in it, you know, I build this soundboard and put strings in it, you would be able to access a whole lot in there. So he had cut this whole section out, made a door, basically. He did this on several harps. I've looked at a couple of his videos. Stanley Chang, just type in a YouTube, Stanley Chang harp, and it'll come up. And on one of his harps, he had a piano hinge on one side here where this door would open up so you could fiddle with the string thing, right? So I managed to get the door back in. I mean, it's kind of a hack job, but it's pretty strong. He cut right along here. At least he didn't cut these braces out. And this is all original from about, I don't know, about this thick. It's original. And I'm sanding it down and getting rid of, I had put putty on here to fill some of these holes, and I'm sanding it down so I got wood, clean wood to glue the soundboard back on it. Anyways, where was I? So there was, you know, all the way around this, there was where he had used a saw. And I don't know what he used, a mini circular saw, a jigsaw. And when I put it back together, I had some thin door skin material, like oak, and it's pretty strong. And so I filled what you call this, the line here that the saw makes is called a kerf. And so that's all filled in with wood. So there's no void in there. Everything is glued in with tight bond all the way around. I filled all the seams with wood, and then just put these blocks here with long screws, glue. So that's, hopefully that'll be. It might work, it might not. At least it'll be put back together, and I'm going to build the soundboard out of redwood because I can't find the proper spruce, because the spruce is Sitka spruce they use, and it comes from different places, mostly Alaska, and it's a threatened species, so they charge an arm and a leg for it now. So I've read you can use redwood, a lot of different woods. You know, it's all about tone. The spruce is like the best for the tone. So as far as the string spacing scenario, I asked him, okay, how far do the strings spacing? So I imagine that Stanley, before destroying his harp, he made a template for for his new soundboard, which he made. This is the one he made. I don't want to use it because he's sandwiched in a metal about this thick metal all the way through up to here. I don't know why. Make it strong. I don't know. Like there's a metal like about this in between these, and so it's just not going to be strong enough. And plus, when I was testing these holes with my drill, I pulled this out of it. So he had put these, I guess they're called eyelets or something. He had put these inside the sandwich. This one just came right out of this hole here. I was going, what is going on? And it's kind of like brass or copper. And some of these other holes came out like what looks to be aluminum. So I said, screw it, I'm not going to use this. But he did make a template from the original one. He saved a template so that he could put it on this one. And I believe it is correct. The template, the holes seem to align. Yeah, the holes seem to align in a straight line, and it's offset to one side so that the strings come down the way they're supposed to. Here's the original soundboard. It string 36, so 40, 39, 38, 37 is right about here. And the spacing between all of these here and this is the same. So the bass section, the holes should be wider, right? And then they get narrower, closer together, the spacing up towards the top. So I'm just going to use this template since Lyon Healy won't give me one, and I think it'll be okay. All right. So. And I've been searching for these things here. I don't know what they're called. In guitar world, it'd be a fret marker. They're probably made out of nylon, because I think nylon's got, I don't know, not lubricating, but it's slipperier or something like that. And then it looks like they cut a little groove in it, you know, instead of putting eyelets in each one. Either that or the string made that, but I think they probably did that. Anyway, so let's look at some pictures. This is the Harp when it arrived. It was just masking tape, and these are this is the board that he made that's in the other room. All right, so I just took a bunch of pictures of everything so that I could figure it out. And so on the internet, I started looking at pictures of other harps, and I've seen that some of them are painted black on the sound box. So that's why I painted. I go, perfect. It'll hide all the repairs. Let's see. Then I was okay. Here's a picture of his video. I took a screenshot. This is the view after I just cut out the door from the back. So that's my harp, right? This is how much he left of the frame. He was going to make a door right here with hinges. Crazy. And it was a perfectly fine harp, you know. Now here's Stanley. He meant well. I think he was maybe getting a little senile. But there's the harp there. He had removed the soundboard, and he said it was a very messy job. Rest in peace, Stanley. And these are some of the pictures that I sent to Lyon and Healy. Let's see, does any of these work? Yeah. So he had fabricated all this stuff here. He had cut a little bit in here. It, I don't know. I don't know if what he did. I put all this tape here so all the wood would get into the mechanism. This is a picture of it with a black light showing where all the repair, the glue is. I thought that was kind of unusual looking. What else? So, researching, making the soundboard's got to have a horizontal grain going this way. All right. I just pulled all this stuff off the internet. So here's a guy, I forget what site this is, but a 50-inch board, so mine is 48-inch. It'll be an 1/8 thick at the treble, the top end, right? And a 1/4 thick at the base end. I've read that in several different places, so it's going to have to be tapered. They use spruce, and redwood is just as nice, so that makes me happy because you can find redwood. The ribs are going to be made out of a hard maple, so for reinforcement. So I'll do that too. And then I'll put a veneer over the redwood. So it's spruce or redwood. All right. What else could I show? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, this is what I had to make some kind of a rig to couple sawhorses to hold the thing steady. It worked out pretty good though. I mean, it was like, this is underneath it. And you can see these are the screws for that rib deal. I don't know what's going on right here. I don't know what that's about, what he was doing, if something maybe was glued into there and he was trying to get it out. Maybe one of the strips in the back maybe goes through there. I think I'm going to probably do that. I think something went into that cavity there and up top also. Like, this is the top of it, what he did. All this stuff is being sanded off. It's going to be raw wood. I just slathered a bunch of it on there just to fill all the holes temporarily, and I shouldn't have put so much. But right up here, I don't know if he did that, if he cut a piece out. There's a hole right here when he was explaining one of his smaller lever harps, I think. He had a hole drilled with one screw holding the whole soundboard on. He goes, that's all you need because it's a floating soundboard. So, yeah, you see, he took a Sharpie, made a line right there, and yeah, it looks like he cut it right there. Man, look at all those plies of that wood. That's pretty amazing. Well, what else can I show you? Blah, 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 blah. This is, first I sanded it and primed it, with all the repairs. I mean, you don't even really see the repairs anymore, which is pretty good. I know it's a crazy project, but my wife says, keep it, put it in the antique room. I've got a bunch of antiques, and one room is just an antique room with just stuff from the 1800s, 1700s. And she likes this shape, so. But anyways, I'm gonna just, put it back together best I can, to send this thing out to have it properly done. Whole new sound box would have to be built, whole new soundboard,
shipping this thing back to Lyon Healy in Chicago. I'm in California. Can you imagine how much that would cost? I would have to build up a thing and, a crate, everything. Not worth it to me, since I got this thing for free. I mean, so far I'm under $50 on buying supplies to put it back together. And then one other thing, I started thinking, this whole thing could collapse under tension once all the strings are on there. So instead of spending all this money on strings and having the thing collapse and go throw it in the trash, I'm going to use nylon. This. This is string trimmer nylon. And it comes in different thicknesses, and it's strong. And I was thinking I could put it in all the strings and then just start tightening them up little by little to see what that soundboard's going to do. If it can't hold that tension, it won't be able to hold, normal strings that are supposed to go with this thing. I know the bass ones are supposed to be I think they're metallic, wound metal, like guitar strings, something like that. And then it's gut, and then it's all nylon fishing string. You could use that just to test it out, just to see it, because I know that the soundboard is going to bow out. It's going to bow out once it's pulled on. And anyways, that's where I'm at with the Harp from Hell. I mean, the rest of it is pretty good. The rest of it isn't damaged. All these things turn with the pedals. Just, I guess it changes the flats and sharps, right? Something like that. Anyways, this is the first one I've ever worked on, or pretty much have seen. I'm better with working on old classic Mercedes like this. I've had several of these different old, this one's a 500 SL, and then I got another one. And I rebuild the engines and do everything, and restoration. I've done paint and body and all of that fun stuff. Anyways, stay tuned. I'll update these videos when I can.